Well, the other thing, the news just broke that Gerrit Cole is going to start against the Orioles on Wednesday night. Now, he is coming back from what is being deemed nerve inflammation, right? Was that the term,
Yeah,
Zach?
nerve inflammation.
Nerve inflammation here, okay? So can you elaborate a little bit on what that actually means to everyone out there, and what is the concern then for Gerrit Cole as he makes his way back to the bigs for the Bronx Bombers?
Yeah, so this is interesting because most likely they're referring to the ulnar nerve, and the ulnar nerve should raise some eyebrows or at least be familiar to a lot of fans because it's the ulnar collateral ligament we're talking about when we say UCL, and we're talking about Tommy John. Now we're talking about the ulnar nerve. The ulnar nerve lives right next to that UCL, and very often if there's any inflammation inside of the elbow joint, there's nowhere for it to go, and it'll pinch down onto that nerve, cause the nerve itself to get inflamed. Here's the good news for the Bronx Bombers. Hate to deliver that, is that can be treated. Remember, that's just inflammation, so it can be treated with an anti-inflammatory, whether it be an injection or more likely orally. That can bring down inflammation, that can bring down the compression on the nerve. Then if they have half a brain, which I'm sure they do, they can figure out, okay, why is this nerve angry? What do we need to change? How do we need to treat it, etc. But that's far less worrying from a standpoint of comparing ulnar nerve to ulnar collateral ligament. I'd rather have a nerve inflammation than I would a ligamentous tear, because we just talked about how hard it is to fix a tear. And so that's what they're talking about. Often, if it is so inflamed and the nerve is so damaged, I shouldn't say often, but one option is what they call an ulnar nerve transposition, where they'll cut the arm open and move the nerve outside or away from its place of impingement. Sometimes they do that in conjunction while they're doing a UCL. Sometimes they do it standalone, but usually the first thing they do is they load the hell out of these guys with anti-inflammatories, see if they can get it to calm down, and then put them back on the mound. That's probably where Gerrit Cole is.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And again, to just drive home this point, a nerve inflammation is something that long term, at least, if this gets corrected, this is something then if they found it correctly and they treated it correctly, Gerrit Cole can be just fine moving forward and doesn't have to worry about, again, like the issues that a UCL injury is going to have.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's interesting coming out of that injury is, remember, nerves control sensation. So if it's inflamed, they'll start losing they'll start losing feeling along their pinky or their ring finger. You won't see a decrease in velocity like you see with a UCL. You'll start seeing they're missing some of that touch, and they're missing some of that break, let's say, on their breaking pitches. And so maybe he's a little bit erratic versus trying to find the velo.
Oh, that's interesting.
The last guy I always go back to like Chuck Knobloch, or I think Steve Sachs. What was the name of the guy with the Cardinals who had the yips? It was like throwing it over the catcher.
Oh, it was yeah. Oh,
he became a center fielder with the Royals.
Rick Ankiel.
Right. So when you get the yips, although a lot of people won't say that word, there is some thought that it's because of a nerve compression in your neck that you lose just a little bit of sensation in your fingers, and now all of a sudden you don't know where the ball is going, and then you become a head case. But that's up for debate.
Wow.
Don't say yips, Ryan. Don't say yips.
No, I'm just saying that's why Kevin made all of his bad throws over the years.
Yeah, the yips.
Yeah.
Oh, you could so say that, Kevin.
You can.
I was a dominant T-ball pitcher.
Oh.
That's just that's very accurate. Okay, Kevin, since you then want to at this point here, and for everyone, appreciate you tuning in. For again, this Holy Shirts and Pants members. So for people that are wondering about this content, we do this. Yoni's on the actual Ryan Ripken Show, and we do it live, just different day where we're just trying to get more content in.